So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have all heard the witnesses and seen all the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruto, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, Rinosuke. What do you do now? You save. Just in case, and then raise an objection. Because fuck. What else are you gonna do? Yeah, I mean, he's very clearly knows exactly what he's doing at this point, right?
Objection!
I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend, it is over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh? I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you'll have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhoda. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, the court will hear you, madam. Aw, I like the judge. The judge is really cool in this game. I like him. Go ahead, Mrs. Zato, please. Very well. Ray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you seem fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? Yes, definitely. It's just possible that this new evidence might be decisive proof that we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine this newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Okay, I mean, I think I get where this is going, but I'm not sure how to connect it to, like, this is relevant. Like, yeah, this is like scorch marks, and it's really fucking notable. But how is that relevant? I mean, she could have just had a book that had scorch marks, right? It doesn't necessarily disprove anything that we've been told. Yes, it throws a wrench into, like, it might just prove something like, okay, this is weird. We should probably just, like, get down to the truth of this and figure out what happened with that before we declare this over, right? Because there might be more from it. Yes, I understand, and thank you, Mrs. Zato. I didn't actually examine this one, I suppose. So I suppose I probably should, right? Not that it's letting me do anything here. So, okay, it was probably just the other one. This is it. Suzato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I cannot let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case, and has Hithero. I'm so good at English. And Hitherto has been overlooked until now. Fuck me. Oh my goodness. There's like no other possible option, right? You gave me two options, and The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that you had the evidence in question contained an undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you can elaborate, counsel. You identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Narhado. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right. So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue in this case, which is for the book conceals? Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. But... oh. Whoops. Right, there was evidence that it was recent, too. So that is a worthwhile thing. Basically, it hasn't been already... I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What's he... Good gracious! It's been burned to a crisp. So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? What's of it, my Nipponese friends? Oh, were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, then there's nothing to discuss. So should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue, as would happen that day, pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? Charred book. There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage that the Starry Tome has suffered? Its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals the startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon. But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand when she fell to the floor, after all. It's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly... Very well, I will play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Well, they already were going to, right? Also, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? And we have a witness of it here. That is fantastic.
Take that!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who owned the house where the defendant had his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadab. The landlords? Oh, he's like legitimately surprised. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but... Of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today, none other than Mrs. Garrideb herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garrideb's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much fucking easier if you just dropped the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrideb's house? I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. The woman is the accused landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost the exact same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. Good Lord, what sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord. This is gonna, like, shoot their insurance claims up, isn't it? I haven't the blink of an eye. No, the whole place was smoke. Didn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it, I lost my favorite. Book called The Lion's... Oh, he directly said that one. Okay. I was wondering if that would be it. The Lion's Pride. Joe, that's the very same title of the subject matter of this debate. Oh, dear me.
Objection!
This is risible. All you've done is told the court. This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself from this to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garrideb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrideb, even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you really? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia will never raise finger against me, sir. Right. Yeah, but as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. My wife started hurling things at me. Right, I remember her, like, mentioning that. There it was, back against the window, under heavy enemy fire, and Incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. Yeah, I remember that part. That was a fun detail. And suddenly it's, like, actually super fucking relevant. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious. Are you suggesting that the book was thrown through the window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No. A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there was no report of the Garrideb's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrideb household. But it is not conceivable that the window was open. Is it not conceivable the window was open at the time, and not even remotely? Let us not forget the season and the chilly weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter unless there's a fire and everything was filling up with smoke. Does the defense postulate a scenario in all this, in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrideb's wife? I believe it is a possibility, my lord. And it is a question that we need answers to. It's quite enough. I assume it's her. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. Really? claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. All implying that I'm merely posing as a maid from appearance's sake. How could you? I didn't actually say that. It's nothing to do with this. It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All I've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. Tracking an upstanding citizen's name through the mud just simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears is what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable. Too right. Here we go. How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nibonese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? Fancy? Oh, that's a nice thing to say. What a nice thing to say. It's fancy. But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly stab the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene, too. Oh, I do declare you're right. Oh, it's true. Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Huh? Oh, sorry. What's that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are open again. Once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks? In truth, my lord, I feel these must have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. This is just a fucking weird way to try to style on someone. Just looking at him in such a weird way. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time? No. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty!
Okay. Thank you for that unambiguous response. That's twice now. It's over. I can't do it again, can I? Do I get to do it every time, or? Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up. Mrs. Zato? Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting. Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. Okay, cool. We can do it more than once. Okay. You can still convince the jurors to change their mind. You have one more chance. There's so many questions left. The defense asks to exercise its right to summation examination. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve. I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, that probably makes a good place for me to end it for the day, too. Cool, cool, cool. What are we gonna do? I don't know. I feel like we're sort of not in a good position. We are not in a good position for this. Oh. 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 Oh, fuck. Is that how this is going to play out? Are we going to prove the idea that... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Are we going to prove the idea that the book was thrown? And that also that the knife was thrown, maybe? I said before, like, knife throwing is, like, sort of really out of the question, but at the same time, we're sort of setting it up for that, aren't we? Like, it would be one of the jurors is technically the one at fault. Oh. Is that, what does it become if, like, we're accusing the one of the jurors and everyone's like, yeah, it probably is her. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's probably how this is going to go, isn't it? Oh, I guess we'll find out next time. I'll see y'all then. Drive safely, everyone. And hello, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. Last time he was considering the defense's counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury. I actually forgot what happened. It's been the better part of a week since I last recorded. You know, life happens sometimes. And I have now determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. I'd be very curious if it was like you get one. It would be very, like, I'm just thinking, like, the concept of this summation examination is basically to force the jury to go through their reasoning and make them actually, and give you an option to basically say, hey, do you really think that, right? Like, very obviously, that's like the conceptual, procedural concept behind it. Which seems fairly common sense to do, right? Really, this should be like the judge's job, right? Isn't that like the judge's job with regards to jury in like modern day court systems? Where like the role of the judge is, when it's a jury, is much more to provide the legal, like, yes, this is, you need to consider things in this legal context and basically guide them to their ability to make an informed decision based on the law and the actual evidence and stuff like that, right? At least that's how I interpret it. Maybe I'm wrong. So I guess, oh yeah, the point I was making with that was, like, if you have basically a procedure to allow that to happen, imagine, like, it would not make sense to make it so that you will only be allowed to do it once. That sort of thing. No, counsel, you will not proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to say clearly and concisely for the courts the grounds in which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Well, some of these are going to be fun. I think Fair Play's fucking, like, neck is broken. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. Oh, yeah, right. Thank you guys for reminding me of what was going on in the case, because I totally actually might be totally out of it. I should have recorded this earlier, when I actually remembered stuff properly. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Oh, I mean, you're not spelling it out for me at all. I do remember what my speculation at the very end was. I do remember that. Well, even though the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime if the window was closed, can it? Oh, dearie me. It's only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Oh, that is very specific. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some bed and on, I'd be in a tiny bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Are you talking about like a fireplace number 6? Yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all the members of the jury this time around, it seems. And that's probably a good thing, right? With one notable exception, of course. Number 6. Do not insult number 6. Number 6 is best juror. Every time. It doesn't matter who's number 6. Best juror is always number 6. Every time. I will stand by that to my death. My learned student Wren was unable to find faults in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. That means I'm afraid that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. So this is like actually a good situation, right? Normally, you have... No, it's not a good situation. Context. Normally in the Ace Attorney games, you often have to prove who the killer is before the lack of guilt, the guilt is thrown away. Very often, it's not necessarily in a way, it's sort of a guilty until proven innocent sort of thing. In this case, it's yeah, what else could it fucking be unless you actually prove that there's another killer, right? Well, not another killer, another criminal, another stabber, penetrator. Which is ironic because, for as mad as Wifey Maid there was about her husband potentially penetrating another woman, look what she went and did that day. I'm just saying. That's so stupid. Someone give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. I was thinking this might be hard. So name and method. Okay, so basically I need to press and pit two of them against each other in order to find a name and method. I mean, it's not that hard to get to there. It does feel as though I don't know how I would approach this if I didn't come up with the idea at the end of the last recording session. Would this have guided me to the idea of what it was? Oh, it's so interesting how they write these, just from a design perspective and how it guides the player along. But, Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends. No pressure then. It's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel. Oh, yes, my lord. All right, Ryunosuke. How's your mind now? Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Mrs. Garadeb. We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that is what we have to find. Using every technique I've learnt in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garadeb and how she reacts, even on things other people say. Oh, okay, there we go. So this is going to turn into that. Okay, I get it. I get how this is going to be. Okay, getting into it again. I don't think there was... A direct hit is so incredibly specific. I have to press on that.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? Oh, the flames of love, I'll have you know. Wait. Okay, I mean, I sort of get... There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. I'm sorry, guy. Working rotted upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray for fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing? Yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrett. Never mind you, then. The point is, we are just having a jovial dispute, nothing more. And I won't be having any more discussion that was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. My fucking goodness. Does she know? Oh my, is she I don't think she's hiding it. I think she's just... That's the thing. She was the one who was really pushing that he was guilty. Was she actually aware of what she did and was trying to pin it on him? I don't know. That's the thing. Right, well... We'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? Yeah, he doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garadeb's relentless onslaughts. Thomas is though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're looking for reactions. What are the possibilities that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? Oh, the prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So, no, the window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you can't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? Well, it just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Well, then what's even the point in having windows, huh?
Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. I mean, I was fine. What I want to do, what I need to do, is, I was hoping that he was going to say something that would spurn her reaction. That was the one that seemed the most likely, but then his seemed like the next likely. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry? What's that? You have to speak up, lad. Good job, Ryunosuke. Definitely speaking up. Could you tell us more about that fire? This was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on top of it. What a sight to behold it was. 75 in like the late 1800s is probably pretty good, I think. I know medical technology had gone a long way even by then. Because like germ warfare, like germs was just getting figured out like shortly around the Civil War time. It was like 1860s, I want to say. So it probably was probably starting to get along, but 75 is still pretty good then, I imagine. You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Wow. Oh my goodness, I did not expect that. That was actually... Oh, I love little details like that in this. It really does, like, bring out the charm of the setting, doesn't it? Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow, and the flames didn't go out. The candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught, and everything went out. The whole place filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like a devil worship to me. Editing Echo. Editing Echo, if you can make the title of this episode about devil worship somehow, please do it. Please do it. That just sounds so funny to me. Like, the actual context of the devil worship being this, and the title's just like, yeah, you don't know what's going on? Oh, you know what's going on now. And, by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. How did you catch a cold from the fire? What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. Oh wait, were you on fire? And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it. Okay. The windows. The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I got a terrible cold from it. Put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry. I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing in my mind for some reason. Okay. Okay, no one reacted, though. Do I need to go through it again? I vaguely remember times where, like, the reactions were, like, I had to go through it a fucking second time. I don't necessarily need to find a contradiction between their assertions, just a connection might do the trick. Alright, yeah, I'll see what I can do. If it's literally telling me, like, don't go for the reactions, but go for the other part, then yeah. Then it sort of does have to be him and him, doesn't it?
Objection!
Well, there we go. That seems like a good sign, because the music... usually the music stopping is a good sign. They do. How exactly, Counsel? Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me.
What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up.
Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Do you hear juror number 6 account of the birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad to not open the... Oh. Oh. Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there's a fire in the Garadeb household. And Mr. Garadeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh my... Oop. Yep.
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? She's gonna run out of tea. But she's a fucking fast drinker. It must be fucking cold. This is Garadeb.
Oh, dearie me. What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply I'm hiding who I really am?
It is imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it is time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? I just want to establish that. Oh, all right then, yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continue to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house is on fire. Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. That's the same medical advice that got that guy to 75. Of course. I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garadeb's formal statement. Yes, her formal statement of why she thinks he's guilty. Yes, the window was open at the time. I completely forgot, but it's true. Yes, okay. So his statement isn't even that anymore. This seems more worth pressing at the moment.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean?
Oh my, such delight on your face.
But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Oh, despite what you may think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? Oh, you see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking. Oh, what did you say? I see what sort of person you are. And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite one or two mild puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Overwhelmingly. But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. Oh, so I'd be only too happy to get an exciting new theory. If you could come up with one. Yeah. I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern metropolitan young lady. Right. I am very glad you admitted it. Sorry, I couldn't even finish that. I am glad that you admitted rational there. Yeah, I didn't get anything on that.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with. How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here.
Well, him and me both then. Like I said before.
What?
I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me loading race down in the Thames tomorrow morning.
What?
Yeah, me. The missus isn't one to mess around, you know? She can be fierce, believe me, believe you, me.
Another shining example of marital bliss, then.
A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, do you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember.
Sorry?
Ah, it's too frightening. That's the thing. I must have blocked it out.
Helpful. Thanks. I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged to the things by his scarf. It does make a good handle.
Don't even go there, Mrs. Otto.
There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Huh. Okay. I don't see it. Let's see what he says. We've avoided talking to him because I know he's not gonna like me. But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3.
What difference does it make?
There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord.
Yes, that's the part I have a problem with.
Sorry?
Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said.
That's not exactly how I put it. I guess you can use enjoying in more ways than one.
Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened.
I think that's what you call a strong alibi.
So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nibonese fellow. Honestly, I can't see why, what all this, palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it?
I suppose it is, since I've nothing witty left to say. Huh. Does this count as, well, I guess, will this be new? The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows the very obvious signs of fire damage. I sort of assumed her press wouldn't be different, but I guess hers and the 3rd one could be different. So it already looks different, so hers especially. The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows the very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. Same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garadeb told us he had been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw your husband? The copy... Sorry, let me rephrase that. Rephrase that. Did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. Oh, he was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. And now he'll never get to finish it, how dare you! And why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man, I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on as well, you know. I really, really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. What?
Excuse me.
What? What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I remember what it was. That memory I'd blocked out. I was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it off letting back.
Why are you calling her granny, you cheeky devil? I am Mrs. Garadeb, or the maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's used to being hit all the time.
It was about 2 weeks ago.
I just got it home after work, like.
I'd put my hand in the pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. That was all. Every last penny dropped out.
Oh dear. What a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh?
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages and oh, next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ears, stuck in the wall next to me. It did, about an inch deep.
No words. Just terror.
Ooh. I can smell it, you know. The god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it?
I'll never use the word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When a woman loses her rage, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Oh my goodness, how many things? Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. Okay. You said short-tempered. Which means there's a limit where you'd get to the point of doing that? No, I wasn't thinking that. But I was thinking something else. Throwing household objects at people as well. It's so uncivilized. Just imagine these British people and their uncivilized nature. At least attack with honor, like using a bow or the like. Oh, wait, what? Attack? Wait, who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words. Wait, who are you? No, could be rather significant, I think. Alright. We'll come back to the bone arrow thing later, if I dare. Okay, yep, okay. Okay. Oh, no, wrong pit, right? These two, probably.
Objection!
Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once.
Juror number 2, do you think that perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative?
Oh my, whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Bride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrideb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrideb household to the street below.
What's this now?
After all, Mrs. Garrideb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right? Juror number 4.
What are you insinuating now, you little mean... I mean,
what is the law for that? Like, it's aggravated assault, but, like... I'm trying to think of, like... There is a... Like, if you hurt someone by accident, I don't think that's illegal. If you hurt someone by accident while doing something reckless and irresponsible, that is, right? I'm beginning to think that even the true origins... ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she'd had a feeling this might have been what happened.
Now you listen here, you Eastern Gala. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't really any evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least, this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman? I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object found its way from the Garrideb household to the scene of the crime was... Go.
Take that!
Juror number 4. Mrs. Garrideb.
What now?
I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Lord Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man.
Oh wait, is that a proper 1800s British like saying "man" at the end of it? My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrideb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, through which the book sailed to land at the crime scene.
can't, seriously. That book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to the land neatly in her hand? Yeah, that does seem odd. But if she got hit in the back with a knife, she would still have time before she... well, presumably she would have time to fall... Oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. The beats. The beats did something, didn't they? There's more to this. Like, throwing a knife and hitting someone, would that cause them to go comatose? I mean, as fucking much as much as I'm sure it hurts and could be fatal, there's a way number of... we now have some semblance of evidence. Unless she caught it? Oh. Because that book would have had to come first, right? Right? Probably, right? Oh, did it have to come first? It doesn't have to come first, right? Okay, no, okay. Walk you through my thinking here. So, she said that the first thing she grabbed was that book, right? That could have come after a knife, because she might have had a knife already, because she was... because this was around 5 o'clock. And they did explicitly say before that that was dinner time for them, right? She could have had a knife for cooking purposes, and that could have been the first thing she threw, and then she started fucking grabbing books. So this is my theory. The knife flew out, stabbed her, she fell. The guy fucking ran off, our defendant ran off. And then the book also flew out to that area shortly after that. And then presumably what's-his-face started running around because he was getting shit thrown at him in the direction of what books were going where, were like hitting the fucking walls as they were being thrown at him and whatnot and that sort of stuff, right? So presumably that's all that came out. But there's an implication here that if there was time for her to grab the book and like properly grab it and hold it, if it came second, and I'm not even sure it came second, it just seems to make sense in my head how the order of operations of this would work in terms of why she'd have a knife immediately available. There's like 5 other, like it's a fairly big knife, isn't it? Yeah, it's a fairly big knife. It's not like it's a letter opener, right? Commonplace, but still. So assuming that one came before the other, because that makes sense in my head, it does imply that she was still conscious and active even after she got stabbed, which does imply that maybe something more happened after our defendant man ran off. And what actually happened in terms of that, like, sent her into a comatose state, happened after. And the only people who could have done that were the Beats. And given one of them seems really, really into the idea, of, like, getting attention and her husband being a hero out of this, yeah, I see motivation.
What? Even my missus ain't got aim like that.
Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't quite yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Oh. Mrs. Scaradem, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Yeah, I'm not gonna... Oh, yeah. Oh, uh-oh.